Hello everyone, this is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. What I want to do in this video is I want to cover an article from Breitbart News that stated that the new movie Barbie, that has just recently come out, has been one of the highest grossing, or is rather one of the highest grossing movies directed by a female in America. And I think this movie grossed over like $100 million, close to $200 million, something along that line. So we're gonna get right into this article because on that level alone, I am in absolute total support of women directors, women movie directors, women producers, women screenwriters. I am 100% behind that. Let's get right into this article, and then I'm going to go into detail in my commentary of why I'm totally in support of women movie directors. But it says Barbie movie. It says Greta Garwig's Barbie. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Greta, excuse me. Greta Garwig's Barbie has reportedly broken the record for the best U.S. box office opening for a movie helmed by a female director. Oh, okay. With 155 million in its first weekend. The box office opening for Barbie beats 2019's Captain Marvel, which was co-directed by Anna Bolden and had a $153 million opening, according to a report by Deadline. Globally, Barbie has reportedly raked in an estimated $337 million at the box office, following Captain Marvel. Now, this begs to ask the question as to how much did Barbie cost to produce, special effects, the production. I'm pretty sure it was way over $100 million, but that's beside the point. We might get into that a little later, which brought in $456.7 million around the world. For comparison, Gerwig's 2019 film Little Women brought in $218.8 million globally. And in 2017, Patty Jenkins is awesome. Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman earned $103.2 million at the U.S. box office opening. As for Barbie, the film also reportedly has the highest opening in the United States so far this year. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer is also finding success at the box office with $80.5 million over the weekend. Gerwig is a 3-time Oscar nominee, 1 for Best Adapted Screenplay on Little Women, and 2 for the film Lady Bird. Warner Brothers chose to launch Barbie this weekend to space the Mattel movie out from other family films over the summer, not to directly compete with Christopher Nolan, according to Deadline. Meanwhile, Angel Studios' Sound of Freedom has kept up its momentum, earning $20.1 million in its third weekend, slightly higher than its first weekend haul, after crossing into the $100 million mark at the domestic box office last Wednesday. That's the end of the article right there. And that's really saying a lot for Sound of Freedom, because Sound of Freedom, from what I understand, is made on a very small budget. It's an independent film. It's made on a very small budget, a little over $1 million. But yet it's grossed many times over that. So technically speaking, if you compare Sound of Freedom to Barbie and other films that came out this summer, Sound of Freedom made more when you compare the estimate and the numbers. But it's another story, and I digress. So yeah, on that level alone, that is very good. I am happy about that. Now, I have not seen Barbie, and I don't want to see Barbie. Now, I don't want to see Barbie, not because I think it's going to be woke, because I'm hearing from different people that it is woke. In fact, Ben Shapiro blasted the film on Daily Wire, okay? But there's been a lot of controversy about what he was wearing and so forth, but I'm not going to get into all of that. But that's not my reason to not wanting to watch the film. I mean, Barbie is it's not a film that interests me. I am a horror film person. I'm a horror film fan, okay? And so that mostly is what interests me. Like the new movie that's supposed to be coming out the 28th of this month called Talk to Me. I'm hearing it's a horror movie from Australia. I'm hearing rave reviews about this film, and that's the one film I want to see. Now, would I want to go see a movie that's not horror related? Yes, I would. But and I'm going to explain this, the reasoning why I have stopped going to the movies per se, because it's been years since I've been to a movie theater, is in part because, number one, most of the movies just simply don't personally interest me. Not merely because they're not horror movies, but because they simply don't interest me. There's been a lot of horror movies that have come out down through the years, and they simply don't interest me. I'm getting tired of these Conjuring movies. I'm getting tired of these Insidious movies. I'm getting tired of the supernatural stuff. Really, I want the movie Hollywood studios to get back into the slasher genre. You know, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Prom Night, My Bloody Valentine, you name it. That was the kind of stuff that I grew up with. That was the kind of stuff that I loved. And that was some of the stuff that the Hollywood movie producers and studios were actually putting out. And they were making big bucks. I want them to return to that type of style of horror, you know. So there have been horror movies coming out in the past few years, but I have not gone to the movie theaters to see them because simply these horror films have not personally interested me. So therefore, I explained this to my son the other day, because he asked me, well, Dad, have you seen any new movies lately? Have you been to them? I said, no, I haven't been in the movies. And he's like, well, when was the latest? I said, no, I haven't been in any movies. It's been years since I've been to the movies. He says, I asked him, have you seen anything recent? He said, yes. I said, what is it? What have you seen in the movie theaters recently? He's told me, well, this new Spider-Man movies, one called Spider-Man Multiverse or something like that. And I said, did it come out of the movies? He said, yes, it did. And he began to explain to me about this new Spider-Man. It's different Spider-Mans from different dimensions, hence the term multiverse. Multiverse is just a term that has to do with parallel universes, basically what it is. Parallel universes, and that there are an infinite number of us, if you will, in these parallel universes. There's an infinite number of different versions of us in these parallel universes, hence the term multiverse. Well, he explained to me in so many terms that Spider-Man Multiverse is about all these different, Spider-Mans coming from different universes and so forth, and that this particular main character was a African-American mixed with Puerto Rican. I was like, I already knew he was going. I was like, okay, all right. And I told him, I says, that's one of the reasons why, too, I don't go to the movies or haven't been to the movies in a long time, is because all the woke stuff. And my thing is like this, let's get back, Hollywood, to the way we used to make films, okay? They're still making a lot of money with some of these films. I get it, they are. But then there's a lot of failures. And I think a lot of these failures come from all this woke stuff that you keep trying to push. Nobody wants that, bro. Okay, let's get back to that. But, however, having said all of that, those are my reasonings for why I have not been to the movies in years and why I do not want to go see Barbie. It's not of any personal interest to me. However, I am 100% in support of female directors, female writers, female producers. I am in 100% support of that. Now, I want to read to you, I'm not going to read, I'm going to give you, off the top of my head, some movies that I have seen that were directed by women. And some of the most powerful films ever made, okay? In fact, you know what I'm going to read? I'm going to read a list to you. I'm going to read a list that I got up off of Google. So just stand by for that. Now, there's quite a list, but I'm just going to go from the 90s to the 2000s, okay? And these are all films directed by women that I have seen myself, okay? One particular one was Boys Don't Cry in 1999 by Kimberly Percy, I believe. It was Academy Award for Hilary Swank as Best Actress. Nomination for Chloe Sevigny, as Best Supporting Actress. But anyway, I have seen that movie. I didn't know it was directed by a woman. Didn't know that. I just found that out some time ago. Excellent film. Hilary Swank did an outstanding job. And the film was uniquely directed. Okay? It was uniquely directed. And hurrah for that. That was an excellent film. Another film that was actually a horror film came out in 2000, directed by a woman by the name of Mary Herron, Heron, American Psycho. Excellent horror film. Mixture of humor, a mixture of graphic horror. I mean, the movie, it had everything. I loved it. In fact, just recently, a few days ago, I was in the process of watching American Psycho for I don't know how many times over. I've seen it quite a few times. It's an excellent film. And then there's another film that came out in, I think 2004. I'm going to mention because there's so many movies that are directed by women. But the ones that I wanted to mention was the ones that I have seen. The one particular film that I have seen that was directed by a woman, and I'm trying to remember her name. That's who it is. Patty Jenkins. 2003's Monster, directed by Patty Jenkins. I cannot express how great that movie was. The actor, what's that woman's name? You guys know it. I should know the name. Who played the serial killer, female serial killer, Alan Wallen, I believe. She did a phenomenal job. That was one of the greatest acting roles I have ever seen in my life. Okay, period, bottom line. In my opinion, she's up there with that acting role, that particular movie. She was up there with all the greatest actors, male and female, in the history. I mean, in the history of American films. And that's my opinion. In order for you to understand it, you would have to see the movie if you didn't see it. I highly, highly recommend it. The direction by Patty Jenkins is phenomenal, unique, hardcore, in your face, unrestrained, didn't cover up for anything. Now, if you're sensitive to foul language, if you're sensitive to violence, then perhaps you should watch it. But the movie was real, and I appreciate movies that are real and don't try to cover up and hide because they don't want to offend anybody. Now, y'all may consider that man kind of like an oxymoron because I'm a Christian. You know, it's like Christians. No. I'm a Christian, but I also like to see good movies. I mean, I'm into films myself, okay? I'm a fiction writer, and I am also in the process of writing movie screenplays for big budget Hollywood movies. And I've written movie screenplays based on my short stories. They haven't been sold anywhere, but I have done so. Okay, so I know what it takes to make an entertaining film. And I've studied films down through the years, so I know what it takes to make an entertaining film. And Patty Jenkins, her direction in that film was just awesome. Also, the 1980s, Barbara, I think was it, no, not Barbara Streisand. Well, it was Bob. I think Barbara Streisand did direct a movie. No, it wasn't Barbara Streisand. Who was that lady's name? She played in Laverne and Shirley. She directed some films back in the late 80s. I think she directed a film in the late 80s called Big, and with Tom Hanks. Excellent film. Excellent direction. Penny Marshall, that's her name, Penny Marshall. Excellent film. But going back to Monsters, loved it. And I loved it in part because it showed a woman's ability, okay, to direct a film that's just as good, if not superior, to any film that a male can direct and make. And what am I saying? See, the thing is, in the area of movies and so forth, I'm all for that. I'm all for equality. Now, I have a problem when you have biological females trying to compete with biological males in sports and vice versa. That's where the problem comes in because we're not the same on that level. But when it comes to certain things like films, yes, go for it. There was another film directed in the 1980s, I think in 1987. It was a vampire/western, so to speak, called Near Dark, directed by Catherine Bigelow, I believe her name is. Excellent film. One of my favorite horror movies ever. Okay, love the film, love the unique direction of Catherine Bigelow. She did her thing, man. Okay, all right. So I'm all for that. And that's why I wanted to do this video, because I wanted to say right up front, I am 100% in support of female directors. Hurrah for the female director that directed Barbie. Okay. I don't know the story, the plot synopsis of this film. Maybe you guys know, maybe you've seen it. You know, maybe you might want to leave some references to it in the commentary box. You can say, now let me say this and put this out there. Now, whatever you say about it, I'm still not going to want to go see it. It's just not my type of movie. So I'm not going to want to go see it. But the point is, hooray for her. If the movie's a big hit, it's obviously a big hit, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about that. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.